This is the 29th episode. It's called Garden Riddles and Global Insights. I'd like to just start off by introducing you to our new family member, Miu Miu, named after Miu Miu, which is this girl panda in the popular Baby Bus series, KiKi and MiuMiu. And Guppy here wasn't too fond of this new edition, but that's okay. We're going to start out with a riddle, and this riddle will spawn our lesson. There's 3 riddles in all. Guess what it is? This all has to do with springtime here on my land, and different things are blooming and blossoming. I bloom in muddy waters deep, a symbol of peace in many a sleep. My seeds can last through many years. I am a wonder. What am I? Cheers. All right. A little corny there. Maybe you know what it is. That image. Can you visualize something that might be growing in still water, usually not a clean river or something of the sort? And real quick, we did rhyme with deep and asleep or sleep before. Real quick, what is a white fluffy animal whose fur we use? Called wool? That's right, sheep. Rhymes with sleep and deep. The other one, something that's inexpensive, is cheap. And the answer to the riddle is the lotus. Let's go ahead and read that, and we have some questions based on this little passage. The lotus flower, known for its beauty and symbolism, has been revered in many cultures throughout history, originating in Asia, particularly in India and China. The lotus has a rich cultural and spiritual significance. In ancient Egypt, the lotus was associated with the sun and rebirth, often depicted in art and mythology. In Buddhist and Hindu traditions, the lotus symbolizes purity, enlightenment, and spiritual awakening. As it rises unstained from muddy waters, a fascinating fact about the lotus is that its seeds can remain viable for thousands of years, making it a symbol of longevity and resilience. Today, the lotus continues to inspire and captivate people worldwide for both its beauty and its profound symbolic meaning. There are some words there. If you don't know what they are, you can look them up, but we will be talking about them. For this assignment this week, I actually had my students read it silently. They had 2.5 minutes to read it and ask me questions. So you just had that amount of time to ask. If you didn't know what a question was, you can kind of some of the keywords. I mean, purity, enlightenment, those are going to come up. Viable, that word's going to come up. Do you know what those mean? We'll find out because you will be tested. But first, just some easier level questions. Where did the lotus flower originate? The correct answer is Asia. Now, I did actually specifically say Asia, but India, China. And then I like to just ask about these continents. Most people know North America, South America, Africa, Europe, and Asia. Sometimes these last two here are less. Now, this one, when I was growing up, we used to call we used to call Australia a continent. I don't know if it's because like New Zealand and Papua New Guinea and Micronesia or something different, many islands, Tonga or something. I mean, they're like, hey, we're part of something. Where do we belong? Are we Asian or are we? Well, we're not Australian, right? So Oceania. That's always awkward for me to say Oceania because OCEAN, like ocean, finished with the IA. That is the official uh, continent that kind of includes that. I mean, it's really weird for a continent to just boom, straight line right down Papua New Guinea. The other half is, of course, Indonesia. This bottom one is Antarctica, which is a large landmass just covered by ice, or possibly an outer ring if you're in the flat Earth realm. And what does the lotus symbolize in Buddhist and Hindu traditions? if you didn't, I mean, these all actually kind of sound good, but specifically purity and enlightenment, when you think of Buddhism and Buddhist, and the symbol of the lotus is literally like the opening of it is often associated with um, enlightenment. Spiritual awakening is enlightenment. Purity is a noun for the word pure. Pure being like, without uh, any sin or evilness upon you. Again, the lotus, it comes from this depth of dark, murky waters, mud, and it arises beautiful and unscathed. There's like a Song Dynasty poem that talks about that, but it's also uh, often you'll come across that. That's purity. Notice that purity and pureness are both noun forms of the adjective pure, and they're not exactly the same. So, uh, but sometimes translated into Chinese, they were the same. Um, what unique feature do lotus seeds have? The correct answer is they can last for thousands of years. In ancient Egypt, the lotus was associated with which concepts? Correct answer is sun and rebirth. I heard about like Egyptian tombs. They throw everything, wives, gold, food in the tomb when the emperor passed, and it might have been grains, but I think the lotus they would put. Supposedly there were still seeds that were viable. I don't know if they actually grew them or they could just test them or what. There are many seeds that can actually last potentially thousands of years. Um, True story, I believe. And which two religions are particularly known for their the cultural and spiritual significance of the lotus? Again, that's Hinduism and Buddhism. Probably originally in Hinduism in India, and it was carried on uh, by the Buddha. Describe the symbolic meaning of the lotus in ancient Egypt. That was the sun and rebirth. We do often see the sun and the lotus together. I'm not sure if it's directly related to Amun Ra Harki or some other sun deity or what, but rebirth. There was some sort of reincarnation belief that predated Hinduism. Even within India, there were. I don't know if they're directly connected or not, or if we can tie one to the other. Um, what does the ability of lotus seeds to remain viable for thousands of years symbolize? Specifically, those are two words. If you saw them, longevity and resilience. Longevity is easy. You see the word long means to last a long time, but resilience is more than just lasting, staying strong, right? To be resilient is to endure hardship and not be weathered by the outside forces upon you. Some true or false questions. Some of these are repetitions, so go ahead, answer them quickly. I'm going to answer them quickly. True or false? The lotus is only found in Asia. That's false. In Buddhist and Hindu traditions, the lotus symbolizes purity. Enlightenment is true. Lotus seeds can remain viable for thousands of years, which is true. Fill in the blanks. The lotus flower has been revered in many cultures throughout Asia, particularly in India and China. In ancient Egypt, the lotus was associated with the sun and rebirth. A fascinating fact about the lotus is that its seeds can remain viable for thousands of years. I should have made viable the fill in the blank, but I didn't. What part of lotus is commonly used in cooking and traditional medicine? The root, we call it lotus root. I think of it as the stem because it's what's coming up, but I guess if you treat the water as the surface and everything below the water is root, but you see it. I mean, it's got those patterns, beautiful patterns. Um, Also, the lotus seeds, you can eat them in a sweet soup or as a snack, fried. All of those things, good, healthy, tasty. What time of day do lotus flowers typically open? Typically bloom? For me, they're in the morning. I'm gonna say morning. I've heard of them blooming at other times. Definitely when it's cooler, they may bloom like really early, maybe before the sun comes up. I don't know. I'm usually not up that early, but I do see them early in the morning when the sun is rising. Um, And oh yeah, here it is. I've got students at different levels. This one I like to have just explain what's wrong with this picture, give you an opportunity to express yourself. Of course, this is ridiculous. Some of those fruits growing like that. So, discuss the significance of the lotus flower in various cultures and religions. How do its symbolic meanings compare across different societies? Again, this would be an opportunity for you. The lotus does come up in a lot of other cultures, not just India and China and Egypt, here in Thailand, of course. But of course, it's a Buddhist country, so a lot of the symbolism is actually as you would see on, in even Hindu art, Buddhist art, Buddhist temples often retelling Hindu stories, and lotus flowers common everywhere. I'm sure you're going to see them across, but I'm sure other I don't know. I mean, Judeo-Christian, Islamic faiths, I'm sure have the lotus. I'm sure I'm sure. I mean, the lotus are amazing flowers. I'm sure people notice them and tied some sort of significance to the fact. I mean, anybody can just see, hey, well, that's kind of cool, and that they're so beautiful and they look so pure and they come out of the water. I think that's just kind of intuitive. Um, the next riddle is: I'm a vegetable with a history so grand, from India to China, I spread across the land. In colors vibrant, purple and green, in dishes worldwide, I am often seen. Long or in a ball, fat, can be white. Correct answer is eggplant. And there you can even have pea eggplants or small little balls. They're white, they're green, they're ball shaped, they're long, elongated, fat ones. And eggplant parmesan, Italian cooking, tend to like those fat ones. Here, uh, we grow many different kinds. We have little ball ones too. These ones are the long green, long purple. We just had a I just we have a lot of them, and I like them. I like them battered and fried, or the small ball ones. You can eat them fresh. You can dip them lots of different ways. So here we go. Eggplants, also known as aubergines. That's actually a French word, so uh, probably has a little more of a French accent than I'm saying it, but um, they have a rich history dating back over 2,000 years. They are believed to have originated in India, where they were first cultivated. The plant was later introduced to China around the 5th century CE, becoming a staple in Chinese cuisine. By the 14th century, eggplants had made their way to Europe, thanks to trade routes and explorers. Throughout history, eggplants have been admired not only for their culinary uses, but also for their ornamental value due to their vibrant colors and unique shapes. Some good words there. Again, this is a little easier, less difficult vocabulary words. Possibly the word ornamental value. Ornament. I think of ornaments are what you hang on your Christmas tree. The decorations, basically. Uh, the cornucopia for Thanksgiving and representing fall has pumpkins and gourds coming out of it. You could probably throw some purple eggplants. Again, purple eggplants have a lot of natural antioxidants. You can tell because of that vibrant skin. Some questions for you about this. We're going to start off this one. Where are eggplants believed to have originated? The answer is India. Where is India? Of course, it is this yellow one here. And it's interesting. This part is India too. Large border on Myanmar, of course, which is going through civil unrest, to say the least. There, we got Bhutan, Nepal, Bangladesh. Yeah, small little area there, and that connects those two parts. When were eggplants introduced to China? The answer is the 5th century. Again, this is a little reading comprehension. All of those, right? 2,000 years ago was when they are said to have first been cultivated. 5th century is about 15, 16,000 years ago. They came to China. And did I ask about when they came to Europe. Yeah, I do later. So that was that's in there. I won't give you that answer yet. So what are eggplants also known as? The correct answer is aubergines. But it's funny because they're actually also maybe I ask you later. I'm not sure, but um that they're classified by many scientists as berries. Actually, I mean they're antioxidants like blueberries, blackberries. I'm not sure if that's right. Sometimes I hear things like that. I don't know if it's just bullshit or what. But what made eggplants admired? Oh, that reminds me. You know what? I had two riddles last week. I didn't do it. One was it was based on that. Yeah, we were talking about hybrids. It was a perfect riddle and joke to give. We were talking about hybrids. We were talking about the liger, which was lion and tiger, and then we were talking about bulldogs and Shih Tzus. And I did get that from a movie Dumb and Dumber. What do you call a hybrid bulldog and Shih Tzu? And it's a bullshit. So there's that one, and then there's the other one I forgot to ask. I was gonna say, how can you spell a cute animal? And this had to do with our lesson because we're talking about this animal. But how do you spell a cute animal with just two letters? And then I had a picture of a cat, so that's not the answer because cat is CAT. And let me see if I can. And the answer is um. Okay, well I'll do it right here. So the answer is P and A. You're like, what? Paw? Paw's not a cute animal. Pawpaw, pap. And the answer is P and A. And it spells panda, right? The word and is in the middle. P and A, panda. So that was two riddles I didn't do last week. I'm giving to you now. They actually made sense last week because we were talking about pandas, and then we were talking about bulldogs and Shih Tzus and anything. I do got some riddles here. Of course, riddles are um part of this lesson. What made eggplants admired throughout history? The correct answer here is their ornamental value and culinary use. In which century did eggplants make their way to Europe? 14th century was the correct answer. What are two main reasons eggplants have been admired throughout history? Uh, their versatility in cuisines and their ornamental value. Again, just trying to kind of reinforce some of these new vocabulary words. I'm assuming that's a new word if you're listening to this and you're an advanced English language learner. You might know the word ornament. You may have never used the word ornamental for something to have ornamental value. Uh, it's good little phrase to know. Name two regions where eggplants became an important part of cuisine. You could answer anything. It was India and China again here, but they here are in Thailand, absolutely, Italy as well, for sure. But I'm sure in France too, because and even in English we're using the French word to describe them. So I'm sure they're loved everywhere, and different ways to cook. I like just reinforcing this. You may know these already: to boil, to bake, to fry or stir fry, saute, even to steam. Again, if it's on the barbecue, you could say to grill. True or false question: eggplants were first cultivated in Europe is wrong. Eggplants are also known as aubergines, which is which is true. Eggplants have been used for both culinary and ornamental purposes is true. Fill in the blanks. Eggplants, also known as aubergines, have a rich history dating back over 2,000 years. The plant was later introduced to China around the 5th century CE. By the 14th century, eggplants had made their way to Europe, thanks to the trade routes and explorers. Eggplants are botanically classified as what type of plant structure? And yeah, that's actually that's okay. So I did have the answer. I already gave it to you. I didn't know if this was going to come up. The correct answer is I'm going to pop in this. This is not a advertisement for this cough drop. I'm not going to even show you the brand, but I will say it's a little brown cube of Swiss alpine herbs. Um, Berries, they are berries, but I call them vegetables. I think any reasonable person will call it a vegetable. some more vegetables just to know some of these are easy, some of these are hard. Again, vegetables are one of those things that it's easy to just be like, you don't learn them. So if you're an advanced English language learner, learn your vegetables, man. You'll come across it. I do like nuts too sometimes. I mean, like cashews, peanuts, macadamia, walnuts. I notice even my advanced English speakers don't know them, but it's like you got to learn them eventually. People know them. I mean, a native speaker, if you're going to be a spy, if you're training to be an English spy, you got to know your nuts. If you make it all the way into this like high level position and like, the you break out pistachios and you only know the Iranian word for it, boom, you just blew your cover. So pumpkins over here, tomatoes, garlic, potatoes, carrots, green beans, cucumbers, cilantro, okra. Now, cilantro could be called coriander. I usually call coriander when I'm referring to the seeds. When you use coriander seeds, I say coriander seeds and cilantro. Cilantro is the Spanish word for this, but it's more common in America, at least West Coast. Mexican uh, cuisine uses a lot of cilantro. They're using that, so it's just I've never heard anybody really call it coriander, but they might in the UK. And like I said, I actually do refer to the seeds as coriander seeds. I don't call them cilantro seeds because they are used as a spice. Is that important? And then the UK might call these lady fingers because I know I love it's like bindi masala or is bindi masala eggplant. I don't know. When I go to an Indian restaurant, they almost never have this. They always say they're out, and I'm just like, that means people aren't ordering it. It's so delicious. If you're at your favorite Indian restaurant, order the okra, man. It's so good, but they never have it. But if there's enough people asking, maybe they'll start actually having it. But they'll call it lady fingers. I mean, it's in the English description. So that's that. Debate topic: discuss whether the introduction of new crops through trade routes had more positive or negative effects on local cuisines. This is great discussion. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, look at like Thailand. We've got the papaya salad. The papaya is not even native here. So, there are a lot of cases, but it's, been cultivated for over 400 years. So it's part of the culture. I mean, in fact, I think Thai people will be offended when I tell them that papayas are native to South America. It's the Portuguese that brought them over here, probably. But I mean, they flourish here. I've got papayas all over the place. They're popping up. I don't even plant them. Birds eat them and poop out the seeds on my land. So I mean, it's like definitely feels like they're native here. So obviously, there's two sides to that. Introducing new crops can, of course, take away from local cuisines. Last riddle here. I'm a fruit that's sweet and red with bumpy skin and flesh that's fed. From China's land I first took root. In poems and art I'm quite astute. Now that's true. There were poems about this. The first time I had this fruit was in India in like over 2000, 2002 or something. I didn't even know about this fruit. And it's white inside. You peel it. The flesh is white, and then you eat all that. It's very sweet and juicy, and there's a black seed in the middle, and it is a lychee. It is native to southern China, but in Vietnam, they're one of the major producers. They grow here. They grow in Thailand, probably different areas. Maybe I've got them planted. I have one or two trees that are here. I planted them from a seed. It's been about 2 years. It hasn't grown that big. It hasn't flowered or fruit. No fruits, but I'm hoping to have my own. Lychees, not leeches, right? Don't say leeches. Don't say I like to eat leeches. Leeches are those blood sucking slugs that are in the swamps that'll bite onto you. So lychees are tropical fruits that have been enjoyed for centuries, particularly in China, where they have a rich cultural and historical significance. Originating from the Guangdong and Fujian provinces, lychees were first cultivated over 2,000 years ago. These fruits are known for their sweet, juicy flesh and rough red skin. Lychees have been associated with royalty and luxury, often appearing in Chinese poetry and art. Today, lychees are enjoyed worldwide, both fresh and in various culinary dishes, adding a touch of exotic sweetness to many recipes. Where did the lychees originate? The answer is China. Where is Guangdong province? My Chinese students, I expect them to know. Some of them don't. It is number 3. Um, and then I also like to ask about, okay, where's Vietnam? Most of them can figure out that it's probably the country closest to Guangdong province. It's not actually bordering because this is Guangxi right here, but this one right here is Vietnam. Then I ask them to pick or name as many countries as you can from the Southeast Asian nations. We'll start here. We have Myanmar, Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, Philippines, Malaysia. There's Singapore, which is small. It's large there. And Indonesia, again, over there, half of the Papua New Guinea is the other half. And Brunei. Don't forget little Brunei right there. I think they have Sri Law there. I think it's like one of the only countries that do. And there you go. There's all the flags. We won't go into all of them right now. We've labeled them. And or Lao, let's do it. I don't know if I know them all. Let's see. Okay, obviously Thailand up top, Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, Laos, Cambodia, Myanmar, Vietnam, Brunei, Philippines. How long have lychees been cultivated? The answer is 2,000 years. What is lychee's skin like? It's rough and red and bumpy. In which forms are lychees enjoyed worldwide? Fresh, and I'm sure they are dried juice and candy as well, but those say only that way. Definitely enjoyed fresh if you can get them fresh. Like I said, I don't know. I never had them. I've never seen them in America, but I haven't been in America in over a decade, really. So I'm not sure if they have made it there yet. In which Chinese provinces did lychees first originate? Guangdong, Fujian. Describe the appearance and taste of lychees. Sweet, juicy. Um, Name 2 ways lychees are used in culinary dishes. They add exotic sweetness to flavors. They can be dried and eaten as candy and eaten fresh, of course. True or false? Lychees are known for their sour, tangy flesh. That's false. If you're eating a sour lychee, something's wrong with that lychee. I wouldn't eat it. Lychees have been associated with royalty and luxury in China. That's true. At least according to the reading, lychees were first cultivated over 2,000 years ago, which is also true. Fill in the blanks here. Lychees are tropical fruits that have been enjoyed for centuries, particularly in China, where they have a rich cultural and historical significance. Lychees were first cultivated over 2,000 years ago. Lychees have been associated with royalty and luxury, often appearing in Chinese art and poems. Which part of the lychee is typically eaten? The flesh. That's just no. That flesh is also referred to skin. I mean, flesh is animal as well, and flesh can any sort of meaty part of a fruit or vegetable can be called flesh as well. What color is the skin of a ripe lychee? It is red. You don't eat the skin, although it has green. Even a fresh one does have a little greenish red on it too. Some more tropical fruits. Starting from here, we have mango, papaya, durian, starfruit, dragon fruit, pineapple, guava, coconut, lime, uh, lychee, avocado, lemon. Sometimes lemons and limes are mixed up, and guavas. Sometimes people don't know what those are. Dragon fruits, starfruit, durian. Uh, I, I have everything here growing on my land, or the tree is growing on my land. We produce mangoes, papayas, starfruit, dragon fruit, pineapples, guava, coconut, lime, and lemons. And then I have trees of durian, although 7 out of 8 of them are dead. So I don't know if I'll ever actually produce durian. Lychees, I'm expecting to have them. Avocado trees getting pretty big. I'm looking forward to having those. Discussion question here. Discuss the cultural importance of fruits in Chinese history and how they have influenced modern cuisine. Of course, these are designed for my Chinese students. So I would change this for you. Fruits, right? Every country and culture has fruits that are native to the land. So go ahead and maybe not Eskimos, I don't know. Um, but go ahead and share with me those fruits. We're gonna finish off here with some fill in the blanks here. We have originating, historical, associated, spiritual, and unique. The museum's new exhibit showcases artifacts originating from ancient civilizations, offering a glimpse into their historical importance. Meditation and yoga are practices that focus on spiritual well being, helping individuals achieve inner peace. The ancient ruins are associated with legends of lost treasures and forgotten kingdoms, sparking the imagination of many explorers. The scientists discovered a unique species of plant that had not been documented before, making a significant contribution to botany. Culinary significance, particularly cultivated viable. The chef's culinary skills were evident in the beautifully prepared dishes that combined flavors from various cuisines. The seeds remained viable despite being stored for decades, demonstrating their incredible resilience. The Renaissance was you know what? That's wrong right there. Uh, a significant period that greatly influenced art, literature, and philosophy in Europe. She felt particularly honored to receive the award, and it recognized her years of dedication and hard work. In the remote village, farmers have cultivated the same crops for generations, ensuring that traditional farming methods are preserved. And last one here, symbolize cultural heritage, events, and historical. Many holidays symbolize specific values and traditions. Wait, I actually haven't. Often reflecting the cultural heritage of a community. The cultural festival aimed to celebrate the cultural diversity of the city, showcasing performances and cuisine from different ethnic groups. The monument was built to commemorate the historical events of the nation's past, reminding citizens of their shared history. The ancient ruins are okay. See, I didn't use one. Didn't the ancient ruins are historical, with legends of lost treasures and forgotten kingdoms, sparking the imagination of many explorers. Um, that would be true. I'm looking. Wait, where was the events? The culture aimed to celebrate the events. No. The Bible convened that ancient ruins are many holidays. Symbolize specific values. That didn't quite. I don't really like the way that sounds, but those all are correct. The ones that I said, at least grammatically. But I think we could mix it up in a different way. I mean, cultural, historical. I didn't like that we just had the cultural festival aimed to celebrate the cultural diversity. It's grammatically correct, but it's awkward. Um, I would have just said the festival, right? I mean, I did say this. I actually didn't get to this part in my lesson, so I hadn't really reviewed this one. I just kind of copied and pasted from this chat GPT. I told it, I said, make me some fill in the blank questions based on the passages that I wrote on this and that. So I'm looking at it now. I don't really like it too much, but it works. Did we use events? Mini holidays, events, that doesn't work. Reflecting the events heritage doesn't work. Celebrate the events diversity doesn't work. The monument was built to commemorate the events doesn't work. The ancient ruins are events. No, events, we're not using events at all. And so that one's gone. It's out of here. I guess we got to use cultural twice, symbolize many holidays, symbolize specific values. I don't really like that. There's a better word than symbolize. Go ahead and think of a better word. Many holidays celebrate specific values and traditions. demonstrate. Symbolize works. It's got to be symbolized. Anyway, um, there we go. There you have it. That's today's lesson, and hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next week. Bye bye.